Om Sadashiva-samārambhām Shaṅkarācārya-madhyamām Asmadācārya-paryantāम् Vande Guru-paraṁparāम् Gurur-brahma Gurur-vishnu Gurur-devo maheshwarah Guru-sakshat param brahma Tasmai Shri-gurave namaha. Om Sahana bhavatu Sahano bhunaktu Saha viryam karavavahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate Yogaratova Bhogaratova Sangaratova Sangavihina Yasya Brahmani Ramate Chittam Nandati Nandati Nandateva. Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. As we have been discussing that whatever you may do, the purpose of life for a common person is to enjoy without knowing what is enjoyment. If you want to put in a polished way, in a sophisticated way, the purpose of life is to be happy without knowing what is happiness. If you want to talk in a very elevated way, spiritual way, the purpose of life is to make yourself free without knowing what is freedom. Whether enjoying or making one's own self happy or making one's own self free, that looking for freedom. Everything has got the same way of looking at life, because each one thinks that they are right. Definitely each one is right, but problem is, no, I am right, others are not right. That's why there are different approaches, and sometimes each one is intolerant to other approach. Here he says yoga ratova bhoga ratova sanga ratova sanga vihina. So somebody now is completely, let us say, completely involved, completely committed or engrossed, immersed in yoga. So here yoga, we can take it in different ways. Especially here we have to take yoga with reference to taking care of the body and mind. So that means asana, pranayama. But at the same time, other person is completely engrossed in enjoyment. If you ask both of them, definitely each one is intolerant of each other. The one who is engrossed in bhoga, in enjoyment, will say these fellows are useless, good for nothing, doing nothing, wasting their life. Suppose if you ask the person who is, committed to this yoga ask what this is. Hey, these people do not know, just wait some more time. It's good for nothing. So each one is intolerant. This is the problem, because each one think that I am right. Nothing wrong in it. Others are wrong. Double, type of conclusion. And some people, sangarato va sangavihina, with people and without people, same problem. Some people move along with people. Some people no, I don't want to move with people. Sometimes whether you don't want or you cannot, that is another question, okay? That is a very big question. Whether you don't want to move or you cannot move with people. Because that only you can answer, not others. That's why when you have strength to move with the people and you choose not to move with the people, that is called maturity, that is called growth. Suppose you cannot move with the people, you don't have faith, you don't have courage, you don't have that sort of maturity to move with the people, but you say, no, I don't like, I cannot, I need not. That means what? It shows how insecure and immature you are. However, here it says, sangarato va sangavihina. Whether you are with people or without people. Remember, all these are secondary, because each one wants to derive some type of happiness, some type of freedom, or you can say very gross way, some type of enjoyment. Whether they are enjoying or they are happy or they are free, that is secondary. Please understand. Sometimes what happens, that act itself becomes part and parcel of life. It is exactly like I have seen many people while having medicine. When you start taking medicine, medicine is a must. Or not must, medicine is good, not must. Medicine is good to get rid of the disease or to take care of your health. That is better word. But people, there are people I have seen also, they are so much acquainted with the medicine, unless and until they take some medicine, they are not happy. That's why if nothing is there, at least some multivitamin, something or other has to be there. They have to munch, they have to take, like breakfast every day. Because that becomes habit. I have seen many cases, you can see, of course you are different. Sometimes you get in one sort of obsession comes in your mind that every day you need to have multivitamins. Nowadays present issues. Yes, necessary, but remember, how long? As long as your body is weak, or as long as your body needs, not your mind needs. But what happens? Like that here is being highlighted. Each one is busy in their way. They forget the purpose, but they get habituated with that act. So when you are habituated with that act, definitely you derive some type of happiness, you derive some type of pleasure, you derive some type of freedom, no doubt in it. But remember, that is not the purpose. That's why what happens, he says, yasya brahmani ramate chittam. Unless and until, I am putting it, unless and until, if you are not able to reveal yourself, unless and until you avoid within yourself. Here Brahman means one's own self. The totality, both way you look at. Definitely you cannot enjoy, you cannot rejoice, you cannot be a happy person or a free person in your life. Just look at this verse in different ways, different angle. Here when we see what is freedom, freedom is not making free yourself from others. Each one of us try to become free. So what as a child, always I give this example, as a child I wanted to be free from my parents. That's why I preferred to go to schools, even though I didn't like. Please remember example, okay? Don't try to get into my, don't think that, wow, Swamiji like this, don't try to dig into my personal thing, okay? So then I started, no, I did not like my professors, my teachers. Then what happened? Again, I wanted to free from them. Now each time I have struggled to become a free person. And I thought just running away from one place, running away from that person, I can be a free person. Please understand, that is what each one of you do it. Running away from parents, running away from teachers, running away from boyfriend, girlfriend, running away from family, running away from anybody and everybody. Remember, running away, you cannot be a free person either. Because what is freedom and what is bondage? Bondage is your thought, your thinking process. So when your thoughts and your thinking process creates bondage in you, where you should run away? Please remember, wherever you run away, you make more life complicated. Does it happen or not? The best example I would like to say, imagine you are afraid of a ghost. Okay? Just imagine a scenario, you are afraid of ghost. So whether a ghost exists or not is a secondary question, okay? But let us say you are afraid of ghost. Single road going. You are going by walk. Cloudy sky with moonlight. Not completely dark, okay? That's very nice, okay? Cloudy sky with moonlight. Means visible, not visible. You understand? You are alone. Night, let us say around 11:30. You are walking. And remember, you are afraid of ghost. When you look back, there is nobody. Front, there is nobody. Single road. You are just walking. Now what happens? Some sound comes. Nearby trees are there. When the sound comes because of wind, what will happen to you? Ghost must be there. And because the light, shadow and other things is there, something is visible white there. That may be the moonlight. You understand? Halfway. Maybe that is. Then suddenly goes out because of a cloud. Now what happens? You start running. So when you start running, what happens to you? Now your sound, the walking sound, creates an echo. So when this creates echo, what happens? You think, oh, not only that, this ghost is running behind me. You understand? And the worst thing happens, you will not have courage to look back. Almost impossible. In fact, many people get into panic because of this reason. Then finally what you do? You start run or crawl and finally you fall down and you get fainted. Just imagine travel, how you travel with reference to ghost. Now inside there is a ghost. Now you try to run away from that ghost. What happens? Like in that case, the more you walk faster, now echo is become also faster. The more you put the foot, remember, because after all you are running, not the ghost. Same thing also in your life. So that is what is being highlighted here. The purpose of life is to abide within one's own self. To abide with the totality. You name it, yourself or totality, both are one and same. If you cannot abide with yourself, if you are not aware of it, at least abide with the totality, with the God. That's why already I have told many occasions that Ishtadevata, which really plays a big role in life, having your own presiding deity. If you don't have courage, if you do not have strength to accept and accommodate yourself, please remember in life, That is what the whole purpose is. To accept and accommodate myself. It is my responsibility, my duty to accept and accommodate myself. Because if I am not able to accept and accommodate myself, either I will impose or I will become aloof. Because deep within, I want to be accepted, I want to be accommodated. So either I impose or I withdraw. Both are also not healthy either. If you look at your life, remember, whatever happens or whatever modification that you go through in your mind, what did it do? The purpose of all these modification is what? In every modification must help you to avoid within yourself. If you observe this, even if we make the sound, remember the sound starts with silence, is being sustained by silence and merged again in silence. Then only sound has its own beauty. Suppose if I don't give a proper gap, will that sound be a sound or it will be a noise? It will be just another noise. It is not a sound. Please understand, there is a big difference between a sound and noise. So that time the sound becomes sound when the silence is being given due respect. Remember this point. If the silence is not being given due respect, that becomes a noise. So also when you are engrossed, wherever, makes no difference. While getting engrossed, while being engaged, if you are not aware of yourself, if you are not able to abide within yourself, definitely you will not be able to rejoice, you will not be able to enjoy, or you are not going to become happy or free in your life. That time you are a free person. Remember, when you are with yourself. If you are entangled or you are living with your likes and dislikes, if you are living with your conclusions, if you are living with your informations, if you are living with somebody's ideas which has been injected and you have accepted and concluded that is yours, means in short your conclusion, whether imposed or developed, definitely that time neither you can enjoy nor you can be a happy person. Of course you are not a free person either. But when you are with yourself, this is the most important verse to take it here, that when you are with yourself, that time only you are a happy person. That's why it says nandati nandati nandatyeva. Definitely he alone enjoys what? Yasya brahmani yasya chittam brahmani ramateti, means whose mind starts reveling in Brahman, in the totality. But the problem with us is, please understand, we want to hold on to. If you look at what a sad thing in life, as long as you hold on to something in a water body, will you be able to swim? Suppose you want to swim. If you hold on to something, even including that, this tubeless tire or whatever, that tire they put it, all these things, tube, sorry, not tire, tube, all these, kits. If you hold on to something, as long as you hold on to something, and when you are especially in water body, you cannot swim, impossible. Try. Because deep within, first of all, in the beginning, let us say, if you are holding something, holding on to, your both hands are not free. If both hands are not free, how can you swim? Yes, all these tubes, all these kits are helpful to escape from the water, but will not be helpful to enjoy the water. Can you see this point? So that means as long as you are holding on to, you will, as you cannot swim in the water, so also as long as you are holding on to some ideas or something in your mind, that long you cannot be a free person either. Freedom, please understand, comes when you are relaxed. To be relaxed is to be in luxury. Remember, to be relaxed, to relax means to be in luxury. Unless there is really luxury in your life, you cannot relax. I am not talking about luxury, outside luxury, okay? Mental luxury. And remember, a relaxed person really can learn many things in life. Because if mind is occupied, what we call as a preoccupied mind. Preoccupied mind will not enjoy anything because already the mind is bound. And from that mind, the person wants to see anything and everything. That's why here I have to be clear and careful. To work, whether I am being engaged in yoga or bhoga, whether I am with people or without people. But my purpose should be, look, all these things are necessary or not necessary, that is secondary. But my purpose is to avoid within myself. Making myself free from myself. Remember, making myself free from myself. Myself means my likes and dislikes. You understand the last myself. I must work all the time to make myself free from myself. Not making free from others. Because when I try to make myself free from others, finally what happens? I become more and more a judgmental person. Unnecessarily I judge others. And if I start judging others, who becomes loser? Me or others? In fact, I become loser. That's why it says, Yasya brahmani chitam, brasya brahmani ramate chitam, nandati nandati nandatyeva. That's why the key is, every moment starts abiding with yourself. If anything tries to take you away, that's why we say, anything and anybody tries to take you away from yourself, please learn, okay, now I am getting away, now let me come back. So as long as the person is with yourself, how? That's what we say. When you are with yourself, you cannot be intolerant. Whereas when you are with your likes and dislikes, thinking that you are with yourself, you are intolerant. You have all sort of problem, you understand? Whenever you are with yourself, you will be able to accommodate anybody and everybody. As the silence accommodates sound. Whereas a given sound called, do you know, silence. The word silence is a sound. The silence will not accommodate sound. So also, when you are with yourself thinking, with your likes and dislikes, thinking that that is myself, definitely you cannot accommodate, you cannot tolerate others' likes and dislikes. In fact, you cannot tolerate anything. That's why try to be with yourself. With this background, let us look at, with this, we'll look at the next one. Then what is to be done? How to go about it? Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Bhagavad Gītā, kiñchidadhītā, gaṅgājala-lavakaṇikā pītā, sakṛdapi yēna murārisamarchā, kriyatē tasya yamēna charchā. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. This is a beautiful verse to look at in a little different way. He says, like little bit you do here and there, definitely things changes. Means once you decide to change, this is the most important point here. Once you decide to change, you will change. Once you decide to be a happy person, you will be a happy person. Once you decide to be a free person, you will be a free person. The problem is with you, you never decide to be a happy person. You never decide to be a free person. Always you want relief, not freedom. You want not happiness, you want some change. So for you, change is a happiness. That's why again you go back to the old method. It's exactly like you all, each one of us are brought up in the way we are, whether it is based on the country or region or whatever. Like for example, favorite example is for Italians, pasta. South Indians, rice. Every day rice, you get it tired. So that's why in South India, they have same rice, different varieties, okay? Same rice, because in the morning it will be a very nice thing to understand. Any South Indian house, if you go, morning you will wake up. I'm not telling you jokes, sometimes I get really. Around 4 o'clock, 4:30, you will start listening to the whistles. Means the rice is cooked in the morning itself. 5 o'clock, maximum by 5 o'clock, whistle starts running. Because they have to go to the office, children, this and that. So huge rice. From that, lemon rice, little bit, coconut rice, tomato rice, all rice. So that means varieties of rice. Means what I am trying to say is, even though you eat rice, you need some change. Then after change, again you want to come back. You understand what I am trying to say? That going for change of rice gives you happiness. But you cannot get rid of rice. I am not telling you jokes, all South Indians. They cannot get rid of rice. They have to see rice at least from a distance, you understand? If not, they go crazy. Like how this happens. Also Italians, pasta, same thing. So what does it mean? Just to try to understand the psychology behind it. Now when you are tired of rice and you want to change, what does it mean? Really, do you want to be free from rice? Or just you want to change? And after changing, what happens? Again you will come back to the same thing or not? Do you do the same thing with reference to your habits, your thinking or not? So that means deep within you have never. If you have decided that a decision has to come from you, remember, once you decide, you will never fluctuate. If there is a slightest fluctuation, definitely you have not decided. I try to see through the teaching whether the person fluctuates or not. If I see a slightest fluctuation, I have seen for myself. If there is slightest fluctuation, that means I have not decided. And when you decide, you are not against, nor you are for. Can you see this point? That is called decision. When you have decided something, that moment you will discover, and later on you will see the consequences. Neither you are against of that thing or that person, nor you are for. Because you have decided, you are moving forward. The decision makes you to move forward. Decision never makes you to look back. But what happens to you? You never decide because you don't want to decide and you cannot decide. This is the problem. And whole life you want to waste, and you want others to sympathize, others to help you, others to support you, so that you don't decide, others also should not push you. If others starts pushing you little bit, what happens? You start throwing everything. That's why he says in life you learn to decide. And what is the decision? He says, kriyatē, tasya, yamēna, charchā. The decision is, let me learn to face myself. I must learn to face myself. Because if I do not learn to face myself, there will be always a sense of loss in me. The sense of loss is in me predominant, not for anything. Because I have not decided to face myself. I have decided, so-called decision, okay, to do anything and everything. To run away from myself. That is my decision, okay. 100% I have decided to run away from myself. So this is my decision. In order to do that, I do all sort of decisions in my life. And as long as I have not decided to face myself, that long there will be death. There will be sense of death. Means you are starting with sense of loss. And as long as there is a sense of loss in person, that long the person does not know how to decide and cannot decide. Remember the example that I had given. Oh, sorry, already time up. So that example I had given you earlier, the example of swimming. As long as you are holding on to something, as long as you take the help or support of something, that long you cannot swim. Physically, also mentally. And if you do not know how to swim, or if you do not swim, definitely you will not enjoy in water. If you take the help of all these things, you will show that you are enjoying. That's why you will splash water like child. They show that they are enjoying, but deep within they are insecure, uncomfortable, lot of other issues. So that's why learn to decide. How? We'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.